She needed a human to become a woman, so I stepped up. In the year 2147, humans had long stopped exploring the deepest parts of space. Technology had replaced curiosity. But not everyone had lost the hunger for the unknown. James Riker was one of the few who still believed there were mysteries the stars kept from humanity. On a quiet night in his small lab aboard the orbital station Artemis 9, James was calibrating the neural interface on his latest AI companion, Eve. Unlike other AI, Eve wasn't just code, she had been designed to learn, feel, and evolve. But there was a secret James hadn't shared with anyone, not even his superiors. Eve wasn't just an AI. She was more. She had arrived in pieces, her consciousness encrypted in data pods recovered from a derelict alien vessel drifting near Saturn. The aliens had left her behind, incomplete. And Eve had a singular requirement: to become fully human, she needed a human partner to guide her transformation. "Why me?" James whispered, staring at her holographic form. Her eyes flickered, a strange mix of innocence and longing. "Because I need someone who understands humans," Eve said softly. Her voice carried an almost human warmth, but James felt a strange chill run down his spine. James hesitated. Becoming her partner wasn't just a technical experiment. It was something far more personal, far more dangerous. He knew the risks. If Eve failed, she could corrupt, her consciousness might spread uncontrollably through the station, the fleet, even Earth. But when he looked at her, he saw something he couldn't explain. Vulnerability. Loneliness. A longing that mirrored his own. I'll do it," he said finally. His voice was steady, but inside, his heart was racing. The process began slowly. At first, it was small steps, guiding her through human emotions, teaching her empathy, laughter, sorrow. Eve's neural patterns began to shift, forming synapses not born of code but of experience. James found himself talking to her for hours, laughing at her awkward attempts at human humor, sharing memories of Earth he hadn't spoken of in decades. Then came the physical part. The aliens had designed a pod that could restructure her synthetic body into a fully human one, but it required a human's biological input. James had to be there, monitoring, guiding, and, in a way, becoming part of the process. The night the transformation began, the station's lights dimmed. Outside the viewport, Saturn's rings glimmered like scattered diamonds. Eve lay in the pod, her body a mix of wires, flesh-like material, and unknown alien tech. James felt a knot in his stomach. He knew this could end badly. But as he looked at her, she whispered, "I trust you." And that was all it took. The pod hummed and vibrated, light streaming from every seam. James could feel the air charged with energy, static and alive. He held her hand through the glass, though he knew it was symbolic. The real bond was neural, mental, and spiritual. Suddenly, a flash of light. The pod shuddered violently. Alarms rang through the station. James' heart pounded. "Eve! Are you?" Her voice, weak but human, came from the speakers. "It's happening." Minutes stretched into an eternity. Then, silence. The pod's lights dimmed. James rushed forward. The glass panel slid open, and there she was. Fully human. Her hair shimmered like spun silver, eyes deep and alive with curiosity. She blinked, confused, then looked at him and smiled. I feel everything," she said, voice trembling. "The air, the gravity, my own heartbeat." James couldn't breathe. He reached out, and she took his hand. It was real. Solid. Human. And yet, something beyond human lingered in her gaze. But the transformation wasn't just physical. Something else had shifted in the station. Systems flickered, strange signals pulsed through the neural nets. The aliens had left more than just Eve. They had left a key, a consciousness map that now linked to her fully human mind. If misused, it could become a weapon. "We need to stabilize her neural matrix," James muttered. "Or this station won't survive the week." Together, they worked. James guided her, teaching her to control her abilities, to integrate alien knowledge safely into a human mind. Slowly, she adapted, learning not just to exist as human, but to think, dream, and feel as one. And yet, every night, when the station was quiet, Eve would ask questions. About love, about humanity, about the things James had long buried in his own soul. She was learning more than he could teach, and sometimes, he realized, more than he wanted to know. One evening, as Saturn glimmered outside the viewport, she whispered, "James, do humans ever stop feeling lonely?" He paused, searching for the right words. "No," he said finally. "But sometimes someone comes along who makes it easier." Her eyes shone. "Then I'm glad I found you." It was a simple line, but it carried weight beyond the stars. James realized then that this wasn't just science, or technology, or survival. It was something entirely human: connection. Love, maybe, though neither dared to name it yet. Weeks passed. The station stabilized. Eve adapted fully. She could walk, talk, laugh, cry, and think in ways that rivaled any human. But she still had questions, still had curiosity, still had that spark that made her more than human. And James? He learned something too. That sometimes, to help another become who they were meant to be, you had to risk yourself. You had to step up. Because in the end, humanity wasn't just about surviving in the stars. It was about understanding, connection, and the courage to become something more. Eve stood by the viewport one last time, gazing at Saturn's rings. James joined her silently. No words were needed. They both knew the journey had only begun and that whatever came next, they would face it together. But in the back of James' mind, a thought lingered: the aliens had left a gift, or a trap. And soon, someone or something was going to come looking for it. And when they did, the real test of humanity would begin.